Okay, this is going to cover whey protein supplementation by Riley Whitcomb. About whey protein, it's a rapidly digested protein. It's considerably the best form of protein that you can have, especially for post-exercise, getting that energy back. It's rich in leucine, valuable protein source, especially for those aiming to increase their adaptation to and recovery from resistance exercise and training. The recommended dose for this is going to be 20 to 25 grams. This is the high quality protein that you can get. And it's used to optimize muscle protein synthesis. So for my study, there were 2 healthy male subjects, around 76 or so kilograms, around 24 to 28 years old. About 14% body fat, with the notice of standard deviation. They were required to do resistance training 2 to 4 times a week for 6 months. Prior to the training and the trial, they needed to be non-smokers, no medication that could affect protein metabolism, and no supplementation for at least 3 weeks prior to the trial beginning. There were 24 trials total that these participants took place in, and we're going to go over those in just a second. So first was the carb and protein supplemented trials. They first needed to complete a bout of strenuous resistance training, and then were served 1 serving of the Muscle Tech, which you can see here what it would look like in stores. Muscle Tech 100% whey protein was given post-workout and then at a period of 10 hours after rest. It contains 25 grams of whey protein, 2.5 grams of fat, and 3 grams of carbs, for a total of 130 kcals of energy roundabout. The daily controlled diet is 20% protein, 28% kcals, 31% carbs, and fat, 31% of each. They also did a rest trial where all aspects were the same as far as what they were given and what they were required to eat, except instead of exercising, they were asked to just sit and rest. There was no strenuous activity whatsoever. Dietary controls, prior to everything beginning, they were 3-day diet logs, and they were analyzed using the ESHA. Diets were chosen and prepped by a dietitian, and the Harris-Benedict equation was used to predict energy requirements. All of this was used so that way they could keep it as controlled as possible. The carbs they got around 4 to 5 grams per kilogram per day. The fat intake, it was used to balance the total energy, and it was all divided equally per day. Same thing with the protein, following the habitual intake. And in addition to the 130 kcal supplement that they were given, they were also given a 70 kcal protein-free cookie, which was used to aid and assist in their overnight recovery period. As far as exercise goes, the participants were informed of the details of the resistance exercise 1 week prior to beginning the training, but were not allowed to exercise 48 hours prior to it and 24 hours after. There were 4 sets of 10 reps. About 75% of the 1 RM is what they went with 2-minute rest periods between. For the performance testing, they assessed pre-exercise and at 0, 10, and 24 hours of rest. The 3-minute treadmill warm-up was administered at their own pace prior to beginning the resistance exercise prescribed for them, and a series of tests including the counter movement jump, isometric maximal voluntary contraction, dynamic reps to failure, Wingate, which is probably my least favorite out of these, the static and dynamic muscular strength and endurance, and aerobic power tests were performed, and period of rest was given accordingly to each of these tests. The results, the participants complied fairly well with the diet and ended up consuming 98% of the, or 98.4 to be exact, percent of the protein and 98.4% of the energy that was requested. Within 10 hours of recovery given, there were no major effects noticed on the supplementation. In the body nitrogen breakdown or protein synthesis, there wasn't any significant discovery. The net protein balance was negative with the overnight recovery there, but with 24 hours of recovery, the whole body protein synthesis was greater after carbs, but it was suppressed with the proteins. The protein balance was enhanced a bit there. The biggest results that they noticed was the whey protein, not carbohydrate supplementation, following a bout of resistance training, increased the net protein balance after both 10 hours and 24 hours of rest and recovery. Here's my citations. It's the website with the study that I got everything from. I also included it in the previous slide, and thank you for your time.